Hey Spainguru enthusiasts, Bruno here for our grand finale. Today with the remarkable Bozena Brunowska from Mortgage Direct, with over 450 finalized mortgages and an amazing 98% approval rate, we're diving into the final stretch of securing your dream Spanish home. From getting your NIE and setting up bank accounts to navigating valuations, we got you covered. Plus, we'll sprinkle in real success and challenge stories for that extra flavor. Let's do this. Thank you, Bozena, for joining back today. We have recorded a couple of sessions before this one. This is the third one, but of course, if you want to see the videos of the previous two sessions, you can go and find the links in the video description below. And also, I'm gonna be sharing the link right here. All right, a quick recap of your role and experience in assisting home buyers in Spain.
So the experience in finance, again, in the UK, I spent 25 years in the UK working for the bank, HSBC. I was independent financial advisor, was accountant, and then decided to move into mortgages and joined Mortgage Direct about 7.5 years ago. Completed over 400 cases in Spain, and I've seen about 3,000 profiles.
Could you explain what a NIE is and who needs it, and at what stage of the home buying process it becomes necessary to have one?
So NIE number is a tax identification number that the client needs to purchase the property in Spain. Important to note that if there are two applicants on the mortgage, both those applicants need NIE number. The NIE number we don't need at the stage of pre-approval of the mortgage, but we will need it about 4 weeks prior to completion, because this is the number that it's put on the legal contract between the bank and the client.
Right, and NIE number stands for Número de Identificación de Extranjero, right? So about choosing the right bank account, what are your recommendations for the best bank account options for home buyers in Spain?
So normally we open the bank account as part of the process. The bank that pre-approves the mortgage will expect the clients to have a current bank account with them. It's a normal bank account with internet access and the cards. So that's one option. The other option, what many of my clients are using, internet banking like Revolut or Wise.
Now, about the property valuation, who is responsible for arranging it and at what stage should this be done? Also, can you mention about the nota simple and other legal aspects?
So ideally, the valuation, we start looking into valuations at the time when the client finds the property. We can consult the valuation company and then give us indication how the property will be valued and whether there are any legal issues. The sooner the valuation is instructed, the shorter the process to completion is, and we can instruct the valuation, or the bank can instruct the valuation. So it's up to the clients, but best to have the valuation instructed as soon as the client finds the property.
Could you please explain the concept of the cooling off period, and what is the FEIN document and the ACTA, and how do they fit into the timeline of purchasing a property?
So the FEIN document is a legal contract prepared between the client and the bank. To prepare this contract takes about a week or two. Once the client signs this, it's then sent to nominated notary, and we start a cooling off period. Cooling off period is a time for the client to reflect on what they're doing, getting a mortgage in Spain. And during this period, either client or the solicitor is required to visit the notary and sign ACTA. ACTA is the understanding of the mortgage conditions, confirming the interest rates to make sure everything is correct, and if there are any products that the bank requires you to purchase through them, they were specified in advance. So basically checking the terms, condition, and understanding of the clients. And then once that's done, we can then complete on the purchase, which can be done the following day.
Other specific types of insurance that banks in Spain require home buyers to have, and how does this affect the overall buying process? And when I say insurances, I talk about any product that the banks actually want to sell you as part of closing a mortgage deal with them.
So absolutely, almost all the banks would like the client to purchase some type of products because this is additional income for them. For us as a mortgage brokers, part of our job is to try to eliminate the banks that want to sell too many products. But the typical product would be the life insurance, home insurance, bank account, credit cards. Some banks will insist on house alarm, funeral plans, health insurance. So when we look at clients' situation, we don't just look for interest rates. We look at the overall profile of the client, what the bank is offering, and what product we'll have to buy with the bank to achieve that interest rates, and whether it's still the best option for the clients. Very often we can negotiate with the banks at the cost of life insurance or home insurance because of the volume of the business that we submit. As an example, last year we submitted 152 million to the banks, so they do actually listen to what we have to say.
152 million euros really back you up when you are negotiating with a bank. I'm sure of that. And what happens if you have a company and you want to purchase the property through a company? Can an individual buy it through a company in Spain? What are the implications for a loan to value ratios and mortgage terms in such cases?
So yes, it is possible to purchase a property through a company, whether it's a Spanish sell company or a foreign company. I would advise the clients, first of all, to talk to the accountants, tax experts, to make sure it is still beneficial way of purchasing the property. Normally, the maximum loan to value is between 50 to 60%, depending on the bank. Very often shorten the term, so it could be 15-year term maximum, and normally the interest rates are slightly more expensive.
And after more than 450 mortgages closed with banks in Spain, I'm sure you had some bad stories to tell. Not everything is sunshine and roses in this world. Could you share your worst case scenario with us?
Yes, so I had a client who was buying a property for 1.6 million. At the time where he contacted me, he already paid the reservation deposit on the property and was just about to pay a further 10% deposit on the property. Bear in mind, those deposits are non-refundable in Spain. He made that commitment. When I started to investigate his profile, I realized that he is not going to be able to borrow what he wanted or what he needed for the purchase. The purchase price was 1.5 million, and my client paid the 10% deposit without checking the valuation. Of course, the valuation came back much lower, 300,000 euros lower. Adding to that the fact that he couldn't borrow the full amount that he wanted, it meant that he was unable to proceed with the purchase. And because the 10% deposit was non-refundable, he lost the money.
That's very, very scary. Now let's go on a more positive note. Can you share good experiences?
Yes, absolutely. We have many success stories. Our approval rate is 98%, but some of the cases stands out more than others. And I had a particularly very nice case. It was a couple buying a holiday home in Spain. The wife was very excited, but they approached three different banks and they decided to do the mortgage themselves. So they approached them biggest banks in Spain, and the mortgage came back declined. All three banks declined the case. In the panic, they contacted us. I reviewed the case, and it was quite a complex case. The gentleman had many rental properties through his business, but also under his personal name. Many of the mortgages were showing on his personal credit report. So it needed correct presentation to the banks. So I've done all the calculation. I demonstrated to the bank that a lot of those mortgages are classed as a business expense and not a personal expense, and that reduced his debt to income ratio. We submitted the case to the bank, and a week later we had approval at 70%. And when I spoke to them, the wife was actually crying. She was so happy.
Nice one. Nice one. I like to hear that one. And what kind of charges should buyers expect during the mortgage process? And do you offer any guarantees or protection for your clients?
So we always start with the calculations. So we analyze clients' circumstances, and that advice is free of charge. We calculate the maximum budget. We present the client with options. What options do we have? Once we're confident we can obtain the mortgage, we charge €695 administration fee. This fee is covered under money back guarantee, which means if the mortgage is declined, we refund the fee. Once the mortgage is approved, we charge 0.6% of the mortgage amount, minimum €1,000. It's important to mention that our fees cover multiple purchases. So let's say if the client, we get the mortgage pre-approved today, the client's the property, but for some reason this property is not legal and the client needs to find alternative property. If they come back to us in 2025, we restart the process without charging again. So our charges are per completed purchase and not a number of applications.
That is very interesting to be covered by that, and it's very fair. And well, let's wrap up our series. Could you share your main key takeaways or advice for potential home buyers in Spain?
So I'm going to base this on my worst case with the client that lost €250,000. Please, before you start committing to any properties, make sure you can get the mortgage amount that you need. So speak to a mortgage broker, employ the solicitor, check the valuation, how the property will be valued, check the contract, and also allow enough time to completion. So remember, minimum 2 months, ideally 3 months from the day when we submit the mortgage application to completion.
Thank you so much, Bozena, again.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Planning to get a mortgage in Spain and need more guidance? You can contact her using the links below in the video description or in the pinned comment. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you like the video.